Hey everyone, just wanted to let you know before the video begins doing kind bring back game talk, hopefully make it a podcast at some point, but just wanted to let you know the first kind of topic I talked with my friend Guy with. I messed up, the view is kind of splits into like who's ever talking will show that person talking instead of doing a split view, so apologize for that. I fixed it for the last two topics, but yeah, the first topic, just so you know, it's kind of, whoever talks gets the screen and it goes back and forth. It's, yeah, I messed up, but that's okay, and I still hope you enjoy kind of the first sort of take of kind of this podcast idea. Hopefully can do this live at some point, and if any of you want to join, send me email at joey.totallevel@gmail.com or send me a direct message on Twitter at TotalLevelYT. Thanks everyone, hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, Total Level here with kind of game talk podcast, whatever you want to call it. We'll figure it out sooner or later. Hopefully to do a podcast at some point or wherever, but for now, until figure out how to do this live, it's going to be recorded and all that. So I have my good friend Guy here. So hello.
How you doing?
Not too bad.
Good.
So I guess you can say a little bit about what you do if you want, or how you got into games, all that, and then we can begin.
Oh, let's see. I got into games on the Atari. I don't even remember which one it was. It was the one that had like the wood paneling on it.
I'm
Set the
not familiar with Atari, but I know
30,
good.
3800, 3600. I can't remember.
Yeah. I know if my good buddy Ballistic Coffee Boy sees this, he'll know exactly.
But yeah, I had that. I had Commodore 64, and then I got NES, and just went on from there. So that was my start in video games.
Yeah. So yeah, me and Guy have known each other since what, 2009 or so,
Yeah,
because it would have been HL09.
yeah. Yep.
So yeah, before we were beginning, we were just quickly talking about kind of the Bayonetta drama that was going on with uh voice actor, the original voice actor Helena Taylor, I believe her
Yeah.
name is. Yeah. And being replaced by Jennifer Hale, and just like a week before the game came out, she kind of went on this tangent and everything about, you know, kind of voice actors being paid underpaid, because she said like she was paid 4,000 in total for kind to reprise her role of for Bayonetta 3. Then she was replaced by Jennifer Hale, and kind of started at first kind of this conversation of, okay, maybe this will be uh she might have a point about certain voice actors being underpaid and all that, but then she kept going on and on and on. Now I want to say, like, you know just this is our opinion, so don't go attacking Helena or anyone else. I
Right.
shouldn't have to say this, but you know how the internet goes and all that. But yeah, and it's just kind of blown out proportion story now, where at first had sympathy for Taylor, but now it's just kind of like, okay.
And the weird thing about it though was when she like all the other evidence came out, of how, it was like 4,000 was like the final offer, I guess, for a cameo role.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, she was tweeting saying that, she's done talking about it and she wants to put it behind her. And but she still tweeted saying, I'll link the like a bunch of like charities
Yeah.
to donate. And I'm like you're still going on about this?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, Oh, also, other numbers came up that she might have been paid like 4,000 per session of like 3 or 4 different sessions and all that. So I think in total, people were saying it was going to be around 15,000 she would have been paid. And
Yeah,
then she sort of backtracked and said, no, it's 10,000, or it's just
it kept
like,
changing.
yeah. And when you change your story over and over like that, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
And we were also kind of discussing how this sort of story hurts new and upcoming voice actors trying to get into the industry because it's a very difficult industry to get into. You
Yeah.
know, you're, we watch so many animes or play video games where they recycle the same voice actors over and over again, right? And
Yep.
so and it's also weird how she banked everything on Bayonetta 3, basically, or just Bayonetta as a franchise because she hasn't really voice acted in any other game.
Right. And I guess apparently I can't remember the director of Bayonetta like really wanted her in the game.
Yeah.
And that's why like I guess even after the contract talk broke down, he still offered her the $4,000 for a cameo role.
Yeah.
No, so I mean she's one like she broke the NDA, you know. So I mean she didn't like you said, she didn't voice a lot of things. Now she's not going to voice anything.
No.
She's not going to be in the industry anymore, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I also said this is like she also talked about kind of like how she was afraid of being homeless and possible suicide and all that. And me, as a mental health person who struggles with kind of depression, anxiety on a daily basis, just found that very offensive because the way she kind of portrayed it was to gather sympathy, right? It didn't feel genuine at all. And to be like, because the whole thing started with she was underpaid. Some experienced voice actor got paid more. But when you keep going on, then and you say stuff like that, then I'm sorry, but and this is no like if she really is going through this, then you know, please get help. Like,
Right. Yeah.
if you really need it, and but just the way she said it in this context, it just felt like it's not real to me. And
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the way she went about the entire thing, like
yeah,
there are much better ways to go about, getting your frustrations heard, I guess you could say.
yeah,
And
and
the thing is, we don't even know how much Jennifer Hale got paid.
yeah, that's the thing. We won't know, and we may never know. We should know.
We shouldn't know, right?
Like, it's none of our business.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
But I mean, even the $4,000 that they offered her was well higher than the minimum for
yeah,
someone in the voice actors union or whatever.
yeah, for sure. Now, of course, being the third game, like, yeah, there might be a few more points to that, but again, just, when you're someone who keeps running a story over and over again with that, where you're posting multiple times, then you really start to slip up, right? And
Yeah. But now, from what I understand, the pre-order is kind of skyrocketed for the game.
oh, like, and that's the thing is like, things like that can backfire just as much to that person too, because yeah, I can see that exactly happening of like now people are going to really support Bayonetta 3. I don't think it's going to be like a huge number because Bayonetta has always been kind of niche game, niche
Yeah.
franchise, especially being exclusive on the Switch because Nintendo is the one uh paying the
Right.
publishing for it, right? So they're
Right. Yeah.
funding it. And
Yeah.
if it was on other platforms, yeah, it might be a bit different, but they
But
are
I'm
stuck
sure.
on the Switch.
Yeah. But I'm sure it's going to be the highest selling Bayonetta game.
Probably, yeah.
Like, I mean, it's probably gonna pass over 3 million copies.
Yeah.
Is my guess anyway. I mean, so I think 3.1, I think is, I think Bayonetta 2 sold. I think.
Yeah, that might be right, especially since it was released twice, right?
Yeah.
Because Wii U and then Switch.
Right. Yeah. 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 So I don't know. It's a weird situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially, I
Well,
mean, now more people than ever are talking about Bayonetta.
yeah,
So I mean, I guess it's a good thing for Platinum
yeah, no, and
because they're having problems right now.
yeah. Well, Platinum has always like created kind a lot of games that are fun, but not a lot of people run out to buy.
Yeah. Although, because they're the ones that did what, that Babylon's Fall that is now shutting
Uh,
down. Was it them? They did
I
Babylon
think
Fall,
I
right?
think it was, yeah.
It's shutting down with, like it didn't even make it a year
Yeah.
shutting down.
And that happens sometimes, right? Like,
I think some of that though is Square's fault.
yeah. But anyways, I guess we should move on, but everyone can let us know what you think about this whole situation in the comments. Again, don't attack anyone or anything like that. Keep it civil and you know, even though we're kind of, you know, against Taylor at this point, like still wish her the best, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so I was an idiot the first time as I didn't change the view, so yeah, we're seeing a bit bunch of back and forth screen. Yeah. Anyways, next we were going to talk about kind of the whole Activision Blizzard's acquisition from Microsoft and how Sony's still trying to stop that. Which we'll just put that back. So yeah, because yeah, you were saying like for some like government in Brazil or something talk about how yeah, Sony could survive this and Sony's still trying to stop it, which it makes sense on Sony's part why they would want to stop it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But I still don't understand how they can say, like they can't compete with Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like you have games that can. I mean, you had Resistance, bring that back. You had SOCOM, bring that back.
Yeah. So it's funny, I was kind of talking about this and yeah, kind of big issue with a lot of this stuff is even if you look at Sony's kind of library of games, which the recent kind of first party ones are fantastic with Spider-Man and God of War and Horizon and all that, but they're all the same. You look at Days Gone and Last of Us, and if you don't know what either game is, they're pretty much identical with the kind of over the shoulder third person view
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's true.
so yeah, having games like the Resistance, SOCOM, Siphon Filter, like would be great. But again, the problem is we as consumers create the Call of Duty problem.
Yeah, yeah,
We keep buying Call of Duty, so of course they're going to keep making Call of Duty.
yeah, yeah.
You
And
know,
well, what I just find weird about it is the fact that, Sony keeps saying, like, oh, they're gonna make it, they're just gonna make it exclusive to Xbox, and it's like, and that's just gonna hurt the consumer. And I'm like, well, even like just was it today? Yeah, I was yesterday. I don't know what one it was. It might have been yesterday. I was watching. There was a trailer for the Silent Hill 2 remake, and it's PS5 exclusive. Yeah, it's only a 12-month exclusivity, but still,
yeah.
it's an exclusive. So, like they're doing exactly what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly because Sony has been doing this for so long now, like they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake, and and they're doing it again with the next Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, like Rebirth or whatever. It's another PS5 exclusive for a year. They did it with Bethesda games before Bethesda got bought by Microsoft with Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, which will be available Game Pass, I assume, in March.
Right. Yeah.
So there's still like it might be timed exclusive, but they're still doing exclusive, which time exclusive I never got anyways, but
Right. Yeah. Like
you know,
the point.
yeah. Like, ooh, I got to play this a year before you got to.
Yeah. It's like so.
But yeah, and Sony, like, you know, they the one thing too is with Sony, their game division is one of their most profitable, if they're only profitable or kind companies now, with
Right.
or divisions, I should say, you
Yeah.
know. So I think they can survive without Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and the other thing that I thought was weird because I guess they gave a list of demands to Microsoft and like saying like you know Call of Duty has to remain multi-platform and because they know that they're going to put Call of Duty in Game Pass,
yeah,
but they're saying that it can't have they all have to have the same game modes and there can't be any differences. And I'm like, well, in past Call of Duties, didn't Sony
mm-hmm.
pay for exclusive mode?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of Sony games, whether it's Sony themselves or third party ones, like they paid for just exclusive DLC. Watch
Yeah,
Dogs, I remember, was like an hour's worth of PlayStation exclusive content,
right.
which I always laugh because it's like, okay, you can't just say an hour's worth because if I beat it in 10 minutes, then I want my money back for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I always find that weird because that's how games would sell back in the day of like PS2 and all that. On the back, it would always say 50 hours of gameplay.
Right.
But, anyways, that's a different conversation. But yeah, no, it's like Sony has done this over and over again. And you also just look at Nintendo. Like, yes, they're not directly competing with Microsoft or Sony, but that's also why they're surviving. Again, the Switch being kind of a resurrection of the company,
Right. Yeah.
definitely helps. But, like Nintendo knows kind of their audience. So even them without Call of Duty, they're able to survive because they create their own Call of Duty-ish game with Splatoon now.
Right. But it's weird though because like I said, they said the argument like, you can't compare Nintendo because they're a family friendly console. And I'm like, well, but they put like Doom on there and like
Yeah. Eh, and we just talked about Bayonetta,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's
that's family
that
friendly.
yeah, just witch that undresses herself with her hair and all that. Like, yeah, that's friendly. That's for the family. That's for the kids.
Yeah, everyone should huddle around the TV and watch that.
Yeah. And yeah, Nintendo has a bunch, like, yeah, they might not exactly make their own exclusive, not themselves, like, again, Bayonetta is kind of a second party type game,
Right.
but like, yeah, Nintendo themselves might not make a first party mature game, but they still have that content, especially recently. Like, yes, years past they wouldn't include a lot of games, but now they're open to a lot of those. I mean, check the eShop and you'll find a lot of like
Yeah.
fun anime stuff on there.
Right. Yeah. Like you'll find the adult section of the
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch.
Like they probably have the most adult section out of all the companies because for whatever reason Nintendo just allows a lot more on their
Yeah,
eShop.
they don't curate, they don't curate it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you hear about like all the people like they'll post the game and then they'll make it like 99 cents just to boost the sales, to boost it up
Yeah.
the top of the chart.
Yeah,
Although I think
but
they cracked down on that, I think a little bit.
yeah, because it was out of hand, but again, I don't think it's enough, and that's with pretty much so many companies and sites is yeah,
Yeah,
let a robot filter things out, and yeah, we'll just update our robot to filter more and more out later on. A
yeah,
human will never go in and do this manually. But yeah, for Sony, like they're going to be fine.
yeah. Like I think this deal is gonna end up going through. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna be able to stop it. They're delaying it for sure,
yeah.
but I don't think they're gonna stop it.
And again, it does make sense for other governments to look at it and all that because yeah, you have to look at how much does it hurt other, not just companies but the consumers themselves and what stockholders and all that sort of business stuff, right? So,
Right.
but yeah, it's not going to affect that much, especially you know like there's already been rumors before about Nintendo possibly having Game Pass on their
Yeah.
system, which would be very weird,
Yeah, it
very
really would be.
hard to
You
get
don't even,
used to, but
but at the same time, like that is the perfect system to have it on there. I mean,
yeah,
because they're already doing the where you're essentially streaming the games,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So I mean, just stream all the Xbox games over there.
yeah. And a lot of third parties are doing that with just regular games of, Control or Kingdom Hearts. It's all
Yeah.
playing on the cloud.
I mean, because if you think about it, like that would be the best way, you know, if Game Pass goes on the Switch, you don't even have to buy like you don't even have to worry about buying a Series S. Just buy a Switch and get Game Pass. You can play it on your TV and on the go.
Yeah. As long as servers work, because if
Right.
you see the states of like Kingdom Hearts or whatever, the servers are very jittery and laggy. So
Yeah.
that's, something Nintendo definitely has to work on for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think at least at that point though, you'd be dealing with more Microsoft servers than Nintendo servers, so
Yeah.
there at least be a little bit more stability there.
Yeah.
And then,
Because Nintendo still has pretty bad stability. But, anyways, I think, yeah, we're kind of done with this topic. So we'll move on. All right, so now we're just going to talk about one final topic, and that's just the amount of remakes, remasters, all that. Konami announced Silent Hill 2 remake along with a bunch of other Silent Hill games. There's also Sony with Horizon Zero Dawn remaster already, and we also had Last of Us remake slash remaster because I don't want to call it a full remake myself because yeah. Now there's some that, it's great when you can bring back an old game that people haven't had for a long time, like Silent Hill 2, that's great to get a remake of and all that, or while most people didn't like Final Fantasy VII Remake, both of us did.
yep.
Looking forward to the next entry. Hopefully next year we'll see if it gets delayed or not.
Yeah.
uh but yeah, it's just man, they're really going all out, and I find it ridiculous with Sony because your remaster of like Horizon is just playing it on the PS5. That's
Yeah.
the equivalent of your remaster, basically.
Yeah, like that's all it is. I mean,
Like it already looks great, it plays great. There's
yeah. And it already played better on the PS5.
yeah. So because it's great having stuff like, we had Spyro and Crash trilogies, and it was really awesome to have a new Crash entry. And, you also had Final Fantasy X being remastered and Kingdom Hearts remastered 80 times on every console imaginable, but it's
Yeah.
still,
Well,
you
if you want
know,
to talk about that, let's not forget Skyrim.
yeah. And again, Final Fantasy X also, same thing, but
Yeah,
but at least at the time when it was remastered, like it was really cool and one of the best or kind of bang for your buck would be getting like the all-in-one package of Kingdom Hearts because you get, they say 10 games, it's really 7, but because 3 of them are just cutscenes, but
you're talking about those are games. They're just passive visual games.
yeah. But it's just, it sucks how, a lot of kind of remakes or remasters are always kind of the typical ones, right? Like, well, never, it's funny that Konami did kind of these, or Silent Hill, just here's every Silent Hill ever,
Yeah.
but there's still really nothing about like remaking old Metal Gear games, or you have Capcom with every franchise in the world they
Yeah.
own.
Although I'm thinking because of Silent Hill, I'm thinking that Konami might start thinking about doing Metal Gear.
No, I'm sure, but until it happens,
Right, right.
it's frustrating when, there's so many great franchises because again, if we're talking about Capcom, they could bring back Beautiful Joe, they could bring back Dino Crisis, they could bring back uh oh well, those are two big ones anyways, but
Yeah, yeah.
or Mega Man Legends or
Yeah, yeah. But I'm wondering, do you think they would do like the Mega Man Legends? Like, how many Mega Man Legend games were there?
I think just two.
Two? Do you think they would just put them in like a double pack like they've been doing with the Legacy collections?
Well, I wouldn't mind that because I'm excited for the Battle Network games next year because that, strangely enough, that was my first, experience with Mega Man.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I have very different Mega Man experience than most people did.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah, I remember when I played actual Mega Man, like just Mega Man X or the old Mega Man games, I'm like, oh, this is what Mega Man actually was.
Yeah. And insanely hard.
But yeah, just with what Sony's doing though, because let's not forget about Spider-Man, already being remastered with the new and improved Peter Parker.
Yeah, I don't know. No, that was a Spider-Man demake.
Yeah. Like he looked perfectly good and
Yeah.
like
And they turned him
originally.
into like a 12-year-old.
Yeah. Well, it's like, they tried to make him more like Tom Holland, and then,
Right.
yeah, he looked like he just was a little kid, and he looked perfectly aged in the original, which is
Yeah.
stupid to say the original when it was 2018 for crying out loud.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And Last of Us probably wouldn't get as much flack as it did if we talked about this, if there wasn't already a remaster on PS4.
Right. Yeah, that's the dumbest thing. Like, I mean, yeah, I get it. Like they want to get the visual style look the same and they want it, to uh to align with the show that's coming out.
Yeah.
And same thing with Horizon. They all, they're doing it just because of the show that they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, they know nobody wants it, and
Yeah.
I think they're gonna bring in more fans of people that watch the show are like, oh, I never
And
played the game.
And that's sort of the frustrating part is at this point, if you haven't played those games, you probably won't,
Right. It
like
doesn't matter if you watch
they're,
the show or not.
yeah, because they're already, so big and popular that people who played them originally or later on, like already have, they're not going to need the remake or remaster of a game
Yeah.
that just came out a few years ago, basically. And yeah, no, and Last of Us show. Remember, there was a lot of buzz where I'm where I live because that the show's being filmed in Calgary,
Oh, okay.
or at least a good part of it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, not exactly directly in Calgary, but kind of mountains and all that, probably more near like Banff and all that.
Right, but close enough.
Yeah.
That's
Like there
cool.
might be some parts, but yeah, but it's just frustrating that these are the ones that get remastered, remade, and all that because there's so many games that we wish would get the same
Yeah.
treatment and don't. Like it was really cool that Clona was it that kind of got a bit of a remake, remaster type deal and all that,
Mm.
and that was such a hidden platformer,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, yeah, just kind of talked about it already where us as consumers unfortunately direct kind of where the industry goes, and
Yeah.
unfortunately because that's the thing too, even if our favorites get remastered remade, none of us buy it, because now everything's that $70 US price tag or 90 in Canada.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So we can't, and that's sort of where it's tricky because yeah, we kind of direct of, well, if this is $90 remade remastered, then I'm just going to buy this $90 game, or
Yeah.
and like if we want things to be remade remastered, we have to support it. That's just the unfortunate thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And that's like I'm surprised there aren't more like Kickstarter campaigns for a lot of these games to get remade
Yeah.
or
Well, now I think the big thing are spiritual successors, right? Like a lot of
yeah.
Japanese games are happening with that, where we have I forget the name of it, but it's the like spiritual successor to Suikoden,
Hmm.
where we had kind of a bit of a sort appetizer where on Game Pass you can buy like kind of prequel, which is an side-scrolling action RPG, and
Hmm.
then next year we get kind of full game, and we're also getting spiritual successors for Wild Arms and Shadow Hearts,
Hmm.
right? And Armed Fantasia and Penny Blood, but but yeah, it's kind of like that's how Kickstarters are now, is usually spiritual successors rather than doing remakes, remasters.
Yeah, well, I think that's because typically, at least for those, it's usually like the original director or whatever
Yeah,
isn't part of the company, so he doesn't own
yeah,
the IP. Is
yeah. I
doing the
know,
Kickstarter.
I know that. But I'm just saying
But I mean,
this. Yeah,
you would think though that some of these developers would do their own Kickstarter campaigns, to get some of these things remade.
yeah. You you would think because people would support a lot of this stuff, and that's a great way, especially for a big company. If you want more money, there you go. You can
Right.
see
Yeah.
what's and there's no real risk to it because you would have to reach a certain goal before you even make it.
Right.
If you don't reach that goal, then it's like, okay, well, here's your money back, and no real risk there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, but it's like every company wants to be backed by like, Sony or Microsoft,
Yeah.
It's I get it because it's like that's guaranteed money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess with like a Kickstarter campaign, like yeah, you're gonna get support from all the fans, but it's like, you I think that there isn't as much of a financial risk, like you said, if they don't meet the goal, then it just doesn't happen. But I think there's probably more of a risk of disappointing the fans
Yeah.
directly.
Yeah. And we've seen that many, many times before. Looking at you, Mighty, number 9.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but, that's just kind of how it goes. And I think people expect that a bit more now because we had so many Kickstarters, like there's been successful ones and failures.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but just wish they would make more because, like really enjoyed Final Fantasy Remake again more than most people seem to
Yeah.
do because of the changes they made, which again, that's sort of the difference between remasters and remakes is you kind of, remake it. So you
Mhm.
don't necessarily need to follow the same story, but
See,
uh
I kind of have a feeling that something similar is going to happen with Silent Hill 2 remake.
probably and people will be upset, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean, I think that's an interesting thing to do, you
yeah.
know?
Well, especially for people, let's face it, you're not going to get a whole lot of new people playing Final Fantasy VII, right? Like Final Fantasy VII Remake is catered to people like us who played the original, who know the story already. So for
Right.
me, it is a refreshing take to have something new, unexpected that it's like, okay, this is cool. Like, not everything about the remake was perfect. There were a lot of shoved in quests and all that, and some random characters that's like, yeah, I'm not going to remember you, or
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
no, but I do appreciate at least changing the story because yeah, that's very risky to do for something people love, but was just saying like, with Final Fantasy VII, it would be great to have like a Final Fantasy VI remake or something
Hmm.
like 8, where 8 was a great game, but it suffered from kind of balancing issues with its level
Yeah.
up system, where it would benefit from a proper remake or remaster where you would alter that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
not just kind of a very basic one that we got a few years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I guess now for a lot of those games, like it's what is it, HD 2D remakes, I think.
Yeah.
Are are the
Well, I'm not sure how long that's going to last for. Though and all that, like, yeah, you got, a lot of Square games are doing that. Like, you have your Octopath and your Triangle Strategy, and
yeah.
but I think at some point it's going to be a bit too much, and people will be like, yeah, this isn't special anymore.
That's for sure. Well, we need uh more games like Nina Kuni.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
with the remasters though, well, or remakes, I guess, like I get like Silent Hill, like yeah, Silent Hill 2 was a popular game. And I mean, even on PS2, it looks really good, you know. Well, why didn't they do an original Silent Hill remake?
yeah. No, well, and that's sort of the other downside, I'd say, with Final Fantasy VII is annoying that they do 3 parts to make more money off of it, right? Instead of just one. And I think for Silent Hill, like, yeah, it would be great if they did the original, or they would like remake a bunch and put them kind of together in one package. And
Right.
it's kind of is frustrating too. Kind of buy this product and only get like a taste of it.
Yeah. But supposedly they're I guess also talking about rebooting Castlevania.
Yeah. And that'd be interesting, like depending on how they do it and all that. But I think we got that one though. I'm not don't need as much because we have so many Metroidvania type games already
right.
that I and we just have what is it,
Bloodstained.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, which, like you said, spiritual successor.
yeah.
But
So
then the other thing though is what kind of what version of Castlevania are they going to do? Is it going to be a 2D side scroller, or is it going to
yeah.
be like like the 3D ones that they did on the PS2? Was it? I think.
Well, they did a few different types, right? Because there was the Lord of Shadows games that were on the PS3 360, then there were like a few previous ones like original Xbox, and
Mhm.
let's not forget the most important game that needs to be remade is Castlevania 64.
Everything on 64 needs to be remade.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that one's not really a top priority for me anyways, as a
Yeah,
remake because we have
so
enough
many of them.
games, yeah.
Although I
But
do think that it's good that Konami is finally bringing stuff back.
yeah,
And I guess the other thing about it is that they're not the ones making them, though.
yeah.
Just,
So
selling the licenses, But which makes me kind of wonder, if they were to do, because I know apparently a bunch of people want a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3.
yeah,
Um, but it's like, who do you give that to make? And I
yeah.
think it'd be funny. I'm like, outsource it to Kojima.
That'd be hilarious.
I
Yeah.
mean, I wonder if that would actually be on the table, considering all the
I
stuff that went down.
yeah. I mean, that relationship is over.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But
I mean, for him being employed by them, for
yeah,
sure.
but
But if he were to be given the keys to Metal Gear again,
yeah,
would he do it?
think
I don't know.
I don't think so, just because Konami would still own it, type of thing,
Yeah,
right? And
and I mean, he probably also, I'm sure, wouldn't want to do a remake. He would want to just do a new game.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
But see, that's the bad thing though, is it's I almost kind of feel like no matter who you give Metal Gear to, it's not gonna be received very well.
No, not unless you bring back David Hayter, bring back Kojima,
Right.
and yeah, have it Kojima's way, not Konami's way.
Yeah. I mean, because what Metal Gear was it? Metal Gear Survive was the first one that Kojima was not a part of.
Yeah,
That was a train wreck.
yeah. Well, even five in a way was because a bunch of the ending was cut, so the game just sort of ended, and
Because
yeah,
yeah, because that's how Metal Gear is. It just ends.
yeah. Well, think that's enough for that. So yeah, that's all the topics for today. So thanks, Guy, for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah. And if anyone else would want to be on here, you can shoot me an email at joey.totallevel@gmail.com or send me a message on Twitter at totallevelyt. YT is for YouTube. So I know that was so cheesy, but yeah, so and I might message other people just to see if they want to be on, talk about whatever topic you want to talk about. So thanks everyone, take care, and everyone have a good one.
See ya.